Hi everyone, Donna here from Nails and Makeup by Donna, and today we're doing something a little different on this channel. We're actually going to do a hair dye. Now, I know that a lot of people who do the hair dyes on YouTube use professional, but I went and got the L'Oreal preference so that you guys could see how to do one that you can actually purchase yourself at the store. So they come with a pair of gloves. Definitely you want to wear the gloves. That's very, very important. And then there's a solution. This is the color solution and the cream, the color optimizing. And what you do is you mix these two. You're going to take off the lid. You're going to pour this in and mix them. Now, we're going to pour this into that. So Mary's doing that right now. She's going to pour this bottle into this. You want it into this because this is your applicator.
Yes. So you're going to put number 2 into number 1.
And then you're going to, after you put it on, after you've poured it in, you're going to put the cover back on the bottle. Make sure you're wearing your gloves through this process. That's very important. You don't want to get any of this on your hands. So see how she's got it all in there. Okay.
Just like that, and then I'm going to put the cap back on that, both of them.
We're going to put the cap back on.
And then we're going to put this little tiny cap back on. Make sure it's twisted all the way. And now that you have your cap back on?
Actually, you can do that, but it's better if you put your finger over the hole.
Oh, does it say that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
that's how I always done
over the hole.
You want to point it away from your face and shake thoroughly until it's completely blended. Now, it's really important that it is completely blended. Once you've done that, then you're ready to apply on your hair. Okay, so here it is. It's all mixed. She did a really good job mixing it. Now, my hair, we have a lot of gray coming out. And so you definitely are going to want to apply your color on the gray portion first, because you want it to set on that gray longer so that it really picks up the color. Now, we are then, because my hair is already mostly the color, the only thing was I couldn't find my original, so I had to go with this one, but I think that they are going to be pretty close because I use strawberry blonde. This one is light reddish blonde, you know, it's kind of the same. So I think we're going to do the roots. And then we let the roots stay in for 20 to 25 minutes. And then we would take the rest of the mixture and apply it to the rest of the hair. And we're going to let that develop on the rest of the hair for another 5 minutes. It doesn't need as much time on the rest of the hair because it's, you know, it's got color. So put it on your grays. Make sure you cover all your grays. Let that sit for about 20 minutes. 25 minutes. I think we're going to do 25 just to be on the safe side. And then after that 25 minutes, you're going to come back, put the color throughout the rest of your hair, leave it for 5 minutes, and then it should be done processing. So we're going to start by letting you see how Mary applies it to the gray. And we're just going to do a little bit of gray so you don't have to watch the whole thing. We'll do a little bit of the gray on the tape and then we'll stop it. And when she's done covering all the gray, we'll show you. And then after it's processed in, you know, so we're going to do it step by step, but we're not going to make you watch the whole thing is what I'm trying to say, but not doing a very good job at it. But here she goes. She's going to show you how you start applying it. Again, make sure you have your gloves on. I'm going to take a drink before you get started, if you don't mind.
I also do have a hairbrush.
I have my comb in there.
Okay,
yeah.
so first of all, you want to comb out your hair because it's not easy to dye if it's like tangled or anything.
Do not wash your hair first, though.
Yes, you want to do this on dry, basically dirty hair is the best way to dye your hair. Because your hair has those natural oils in it that will protect your scalp from the actual dye.
Exactly.
So basically there is another option if maybe you don't have grays to just put the color all over, and it does say that in the instructions, but this is for covering the white and the gray in her roots, because since this already doesn't have since her white doesn't have any pigment in it, it's basically almost blonde. We need to cover it first because it's going to take longer to develop than the rest of the hair. So I'm just going to start by sectioning her hair off, because when you do your roots, you want to section out your hair.
Yeah, because your roots aren't just here in the front. They're
Yeah.
all through, so you have to separate. And that's why I like to have somebody do it, because I can't always see that. Plus, my arm doesn't hold up too high.
So
have someone help you. It's you
Yes.
know, it's not, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Do you want the clip to
Yes,
put that up?
please.
There you go.
So what I'm doing here is I basically gave her like a halo around her head, and then I'm just clipping up the rest of that hair. So I have this
I'm
whole
an angel. I'm an angel.
So I have this whole bottom section, as you can see, to do, and I'm gonna have you turn this way a little bit, so they can see me do this area here.
Do you need me to be closer to the camera, or do you think we're good?
I think they can see. I think
Okay.
we're good. So I'm gonna take my well shaken up, and you want to shake this up right before you start, because you don't want to get it. It starts to mix together. So do this, right after you've mixed your mixture, and you're just gonna go in on all the root areas and add a little color in there, and just rub it into the hair. Make sure it gets on every strand. And this is just basically the roots. It's okay if you get it on the ends, if you have already existing color. It's okay if you get it a little bit on the ends, because this is not really like a bleach.
Right.
So, it's not too serious, but you do want to focus it all on the root area and try not to go towards the ends too much. So I'm just going to get this all into her roots here at the bottom, and then of course I'm going to take the hair down and do the top section when I'm done with all this.
You may turn a little bit here for them to see.
Yes, please, thank you.
Just let me know when you need me to turn, and I'll turn.
So I'm just taking this, I'm putting it directly in the root, and I'm massaging it into the hair, making sure to cover every strand, and I can already see that it is picking up some color.
The gray is like a virgin hair, and it does
Yeah.
tend to pick up pretty quickly.
Yes, it does. So that's why we're doing this first, because if we would have done all over her head, her roots would be very light, and then her ends would be pretty dark. So that's the reason we're doing this. If you have naturally blonde hair and say you're going a darker color, you would want to use the same process. But if you're a brunette, or like me, or if you are coloring your all over head, say you have virgin blonde hair, you would do this all over your head first. Also, it's kind of like bleaching here, because when you bleach, you want to do your roots first, because they develop faster. So that's what's kind of going on here, is that these roots are going to develop really quick. So that's why we opted to do that first. And luckily the instructions reminded us of that, because a lot of people wouldn't think to like, oh, I gotta do my roots first, and like I said, you don't have to be too intricate here, but just make sure you're not really getting the whole end of the hair, because we will do that later. So you're just gonna put this like basically all over the scalp. It also depends on how much rootage you have. So if you have a lot of grown out roots, you're obviously going to put more. You know, just kind of go with the hair.
I think we need to open the door for venting. It kind of smells.
Yes, it does. Oh, it's strong.
Yeah, it is very strong. Do this in a vented area.
Yes. So as you guys might, here, I'm going to have you turn back this way for a second. As you guys might be able to see, she's already picking up color over on this side where I first applied, and it's already blending into, here, I'm going to have you turn back this way again. It's already blending into that color that I previously done. So you do want to work with this a little bit fast as well. I do want to mention that because it starts to pick up quick. So you want to get this all over the head, you know, as efficiently and quickly as possible. So now I'm going to take down the long hair, and I'm obviously going to part this into maybe 2 sections as well. Sectioning depends on your hair as well. If you have super thick hair, you might need to do like 5 or 6 sections. If you have really thin hair, you might only need to do 2 sections. If you have, you know, it depends on the hair. So make sure you're sectioning properly for your hair type. And like I said, we're just putting this all on the hair. You know, I'm trying not to get it on her scalp as well, but of course we're doing the roots, so it's going to happen.
But the oils in the hair, because the hair was dirty, will help with that too.
Yes. So you're just going to apply it like basically to the base and just kind of rub it out into the rest of the hair that's still white, while trying to be mindful of the ends as well. So it's kind of a little process here, but like I said, you want to work.
It'll work.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of the roots, and then we'll come back, okay? So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're done with the root coverage. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. So all the roots are covered. We're going to leave that in for 20 minutes. I'm going to go set the timer, and then once the 20 minutes is up, we'll be back, okay? Thanks for hanging in there with us. Okay, so my hair is really picking up the red, and I think it's been, what, 15 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
It's been about 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and add the rest of the portion because I don't want my hair to be red. I went with a reddish blonde, and I prefer people say I'm a blonde and a redhead, so I'm a little nervous now, hoping it won't be too red because all the hair pieces and stuff that I have won't match it. So I'm a little nervous. So she's just going to put this through the rest of my hair, and we only leave that on for like 5 minutes.
So I'm just going to like
save some of the dye in case we have to dye the hair pieces.
Sure.
I don't know if you can dye hair pieces because they're not really hair, but...
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. So I'm just going to put this all over her ends. And we're going to go for the next 5 minutes.
So it's the way she's doing it, it's like you're shampooing, you're just kind of like shampooing it into the ends. So it's not too hard. We need to open that door, man. We keep forgetting about the door and how this stuff smells. The next time we're going to do one from Sally's. So
it won't smell as bad.
Yeah, the ones from Sally's, these are quick and easy to get at Walmart. But if you go to Sally's, they have some good ones for good prices, and they don't have such a strong odor to them. So the next time we do a hair dye, we'll do one from there and show you how that's done, because they're done a little bit differently, because they're not professional, but they're not like these kind, you know, they're kind of in between.
They're more on the professional side of things than these are.
Yeah, they lean more to the professional, but they're not 100% professional.
Yeah.
So it's something that you can do at home. So we'll show you that the next time we go to dye the hair. And we can always get some of our heads and show you on those too, because we have the beauty heads.
So yeah, you want to make sure that this is covering every piece of hair. So you want to make sure you're getting even these little baby hairs underneath and everything like that. So just fully saturate the hair here. And we're going to go ahead and let this sit for about 5 minutes. They can't really see. There we go. So as you can see, I'm just fully saturating every strand here. And you can put this directly on the hair, or you can put it on your hand and kind of put it through the hair, however you prefer. But just make sure everything's getting covered. You can even go through the scalp a little bit and see how it's looking. Okay, so we're gonna leave this for about 5 minutes and we'll be right back.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it for 5 minutes, and we're gonna go to our kitchen because that's got the little squirter on it, and rinse it off, and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's wet, and then we'll dry it and show you what it looks like dry, so you can see the entire process, so you don't freak out over everything. Because like right now it's kind of freaky because it looks really red, but I'm thinking after we rinse it out, blow dry it and stuff, it won't be so red. That's what I'm hoping, so I want to share that with you guys. According to the box, mine should be between this color and this color, so that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so we'll show you, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so, ooh, this is what it looks like wet, and we were gonna blow dry it, but it's really warm here, so I think while I'm doing my makeup, I'm gonna see how much it'll dry on its own. The shampoo conditioner that you put on it, see how easily the comb goes through the hair. So it's a really good conditioner, and we only used a little bit, so they do recommend that each time you wash your hair you use the conditioner, and they give you enough. I mean, look at that, we only use like this much, so it's probably enough there for 5 or 6 shampoos.
Yeah.
And notice how soft. Do you want me to take my glasses off for you, honey? Notice how easy it is to comb through. It's just really easy to comb through.
Yeah, it's real soft, and I'm gonna have it turned back.
I'm just hoping when it dries it won't be so red, because then I'll have to dye my hair pieces.
Yeah, I think your scalp is just a little red right now. The hair itself looks blonde, like a reddish blonde, but your scalp is red from like the dye, for sure. I also read on there after we did this that like you're supposed to do a strand test, but
yeah, I never do.
Yeah, if you dye your hair a lot, you guys really don't need to do a strand test. If you've like used the dye before.
If it's the first time you've ever used dye, then you should do the strand test.
Yes. Or if you're using a new brand that maybe you've never seen before, you might want to look at their ingredients if you are really sensitive. If you have sensitive skin. But yeah, as you can see, her scalp is pretty red here. Like back here, you could tell that her scalp is like very red still. It also looks way more red on camera than it does in person. It looks very blonde in person. And as you can see, some of her hair is already starting to dry out. So that's why we opted not to, what'd you call it?
Blow dry.
Blow dry, yes. So I think we're good here.
I'm thinking if I stood in the garage for like 2 minutes, it'd all dry. But then I'd be dying from the heat too.
Okay, turn back around.
Whee!
So yeah, this is how it's looking so far.
Great coverage.
Yeah.
Very good coverage.
Covered pretty well. I will say that some of these white parts are very blonde, like very, very, very blonde. But that's kind of normal when we do her hair. Usually her roots are pretty light and then the ends are a little darker because of course we're putting a different dye on top of stuff we already dyed. So, yeah.
Well, when you stop and think about it too, if you look at the hair's natural color, it is very seldom all the same color.
Yeah.
You know, it's really a more natural look to have
Different
colors throughout your hair.
Yeah.
So, you know, some people will dye their hair and it's like stark one color.
Yeah.
And then it looks dyed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not supposed to be like that. So, yeah, I mean, my hair is almost dry.
Yeah, especially with strawberry blondes.
Mm-hmm.
Strawberry blondes have a lot of different tones and things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like with my natural hair color, I really don't have a lot of, you know, there's some lighter browns in there and things, but it's pretty much one color. Yeah.
So we are done. This is the dry color right here. Basically, this is dry. So it's not real difficult to do, especially if you have somebody helping you. And again, we use the Preference by L'Oreal. It's a cream, so it's more of a permanent. They do have some of the ones that rinse in, but they are semi-permanent. They may last
couple days, a week.
Well, they'll last probably 3 to 4 washes, where something like this will last quite a bit longer.
Yeah.
So it's worth spending a couple extra dollars and just getting the better quality. Now, like I said, the next time we do my hair, we're going to go ahead and go to Sally's and get one of their products. And we'll show you how to use those products. They are better for your hair and they really don't cost that much more. I think the last time I paid about $12, and that's because you get the bottle of hair dye and you have to buy the developer, but those usually last at least 2
dyeings.
At least 2 dyeings. And
unless you have like a ton of hair.
The reason I didn't do it this time is because I have no idea where we put it, and I got like started stressing myself out trying to find it, and I went like, I'm just gonna go buy one there. So there you have it. So the next time you go to dye your hair, you know how to use this particular brand, and there are a lot of brands that work similar to this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you, Mary, for helping.
You're so welcome.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.